Hello and welcome to CFC Talk. I am one of your hosts for this season's podcast, Mohammad Soleja. I'll talk about myself a bit later, but tonight we've got a interesting topic to talk about. Firstly, an introduction to all of the rest of the co-hosts for this season, and then a few points on why they started supporting Chelsea and their best moments for supporting Chelsea, of course. And towards the end of the podcast, a bit of a discuss about the transfer saga that's going to go on for Chelsea. Of course, Kai Havertz, Willian, and a possibility of signing a new goalkeeper for next season. So without further ado, let's get into introducing our team in alphabetical order. Firstly, we have Alex Faulkner from the UK. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Mohammed. Great to be on here.
It's a pleasure to have you here, Alex. Firstly, just a bit of an introduction to Alex. He's very vocal on the Chelsea Discord server as well as Twitter. He likes to play the devil's advocate. If I'm not wrong, Alex.
I can't refuse. I'll refuse to confirm or deny this statement. You'll just have to.
Yeah. We're going to have to wait and see how it pans out for Alex. But firstly, Alex, it's great to have you on the podcast, and hopefully we're going to create a lot of memories talking about Chelsea this whole season. Hopefully we can continue this as much as we can. But instead of going ahead of ourselves right now, Alex, what was your reason for supporting Chelsea? I know we've done this before, but just for the fans.
Sure. So it was definitely. I mean, firstly, I think when I was young, blue started to really be my favorite color. And as well, when you see the same, I think it was through my grandparents, they would just always have Chelsea on the TV, and you just kind of kept seeing this team playing my favorite color. I thought, I got to stick with them. And then, yeah, just kind of kept looking out for them. And then I kind of grew more into it, I guess, after Abramovich sacked Mourinho the first time. In fact, I think the first time I heard of Abramovich was when he sacked Mourinho. And then just from there, just started to watch more games. And then I think from 2013, I think I started to really just watch pretty much every single game. But yeah, just from
that's nice to hear. I know this would be a weird question to ask a lot of Chelsea fans, because I've asked a lot of Chelsea fans this question before, asking them about their best moments of supporting Chelsea, and they would just look at me and say, "Have you not watched the 2012 Champions League win?"
Of course I have. Yeah. Well, actually, not live. When I was I was 13 years or no 12 years old, and I did not understand the concept of staying up really late. It was quite late for me, I think it was, but I just didn't really understand the concept of staying up quite late for a game. So I was definitely aware of it, but yeah, I did not watch it. But I did check it the first thing. I did celebrate wildly when I did wake up the following morning, and then chanted profusely for the rest of the day. My school.
So you would say that would be your best moment of supporting Chelsea as a fan of Chelsea, I guess.
For sure, that's got to be the holy grail of that's the greatest moment for sure. But I always kind of forget about. Oh no, sometimes it'll just get out of my mind because I didn't watch it live. I would do anything to have been able to watch that live.
I think I've got the same story here as well. I think I'm going to discuss that a bit later, but thank you for that, Alex. We'll get back to you when we start discussing everything else. But firstly, next co-host of Chelsea CFC Talk, for the next season is Ernest Amarteifio. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong.
Yeah,
but
no problem. You get it as we continue.
But everyone calls him Amart, so that's what we're going to use. That's what we're going to call him this in this season or this podcast. Firstly, a bit of a background for Amart. He has been supporting Chelsea for a very long time, and I will say this: I've had a few conversations with Amart, and maybe even on a public level as well on Twitter, and I think we might lock horns a few times in this in this podcast.
Getting the popcorn
already from the first episode. But Amart, just a basic question again. Just the reasons behind you supporting Chelsea.
Yeah, like you said, I've been supporting Chelsea for a very long time. I started supporting Chelsea when I was like, I think 12 years or 13 years old, and that was in 2003, 2004. You see, growing up in Ghana, we didn't really have like live matches readily available for us to go and watch. What we had was like sports shows, like sports highlights. So we used to watch highlights a lot, and it was usually on Mondays from 8 o'clock to 9 p.m. So 8 o'clock to 9 p.m. If you're a football fan, you are sitting behind the TV watching highlights. So you get highlights from England, you get highlights from Germany, you get highlights from Italy and France and Spain also as well. So there was one of these days that I was watching. I didn't know anything about the English Premier League. I just heard about United. I've heard about Liverpool. They were the biggest teams around that time, and then a little bit of Arsenal too as well. I don't want to say much about that. So so we were watching. I was watching this highlights, and then I think they showed the Champions League match. That was Chelsea and Lazio, 2003, 2004, and the first goal we scored was by Frank Lampard. I saw that goal and I was like, damn, this is a wonderful goal. And then like his work ethic throughout the game, he was giving passes. He was like I said, I didn't watch the full match,
Y-
so it was just highlights.
Yeah,
He was
I
giving.
mean, yeah, he's a true legend at the club. So I
He's a
don't
true
think
legend. Like
yeah, Frank
yeah,
Lampard I think needs little or no introduction
yes,
to Chelsea, or just football
and I
as a matter of fact.
yes, that's true. And at that time, I think he had been at Chelsea for 2 years or so. I think he joined in 2001, so 2003 will be like his second year, right? So his third year. So yeah, so I watched that and I was like, nah, this is the team I want to follow because I didn't like Manchester United. I didn't like Manchester United at all. The hype was too much. Everybody was talking about Manchester
That
United, so I wanted a team that. Hello, yeah,
yeah, sorry. That's
yeah,
something that
yeah.
I can actually relate to as well because I come from
Okay,
India, and
yeah,
I've lived all my life in a Middle Eastern country. So
okay,
most of the football fans I meet here would just say, "Oh, we're supporting Liverpool, we're supporting Manchester United," especially in India as well.
yes,
There's a
it's
big
true,
fan
it's
following
true.
from Man United, and
Yeah,
you know, being a Chelsea fan, you don't find a lot of fans of Chelsea outside of, I think I would say, in countries where football isn't as widely played or
yeah, that's
isn't
true.
as a mainstream sport.
Yes, that's true.
Sure.
So, moving on to the next question, Amart. What's your best moment of supporting Chelsea? Of course, I know you would have watched that Champions League final live as well.
I watched. I did. I watched it live. I did. I watched it live. Around the time that at 2012, like we had matches. We had matches going on. We could watch matches. Like I was talking about 2003, 2004. At that time, we didn't have live matches being played on TV. But I think from the 2006-7 season, Scolari season at Chelsea, we started having live matches. They were showing it regularly on TV, but they selected the matches. They didn't show all the matches. They selected certain big matches and then they showed. But by the time 2012 came around, like they were just showing all the matches, all the Champions League matches, all the Premier League matches. So I watched the Champions League match. I did, but it's not my favorite.
Oh, so what would you
It's
say would be your favorite? Um,
it's a bit controversial. A lot of people, when I tell a lot of people this, they expect 2012 to be my favorite, but it's actually the
that
semi-final before 2012.
so the
The
Barcelona
sem-
one.
the
Of course.
Barcelona versus um
Fernando Torres.
Chelsea one, the Torres goal. It was like I've never celebrated a goal that much in my
That
life. The
is
Torres goal.
that is very interesting because me. Sorry to interrupt there, but just a bit of a
Yeah, no
background about
problem.
me as well. I as I said, I never grew up in a footballing environment.
Yeah,
I would say, and I've always watched cricket my whole life. So I was. This is my story of how I started supporting Chelsea, as well as one of my best
okay,
moments as a Chelsea fan. Um, my dad used to watch football, so I would just sit around and watch football with him, and he would be watching the Chelsea game. And he supports Chelsea as well. So I just said, all right, fine, my dad does it, I should do it as well. And I said to him, I think I've got a feeling that we're going to win today. And that was a Barcelona
Okay.
semi-final, and that was a Barcelona semi-final.
Yeah.
But I
So,
wouldn't
so,
say,
so oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
But I wouldn't say that was my best moment as a Chelsea fan, because when I watched that match, I was never a regular football watcher until
Okay.
I think Jose Mourinho was appointed in 2014. I think that's when I really got into Chelsea and really started supporting
Okay.
Chelsea by watching the whole season with stats, and just literally I would memorize stats, and I would just know them off the top of my head. So anyone would walk up to me and be like, "Yeah, why is Chelsea doing so bad?" And I would just spit out these facts, and they would just be like, "All right,
Just fast.
just yeah, just
So, so,
just
so you know Kepa's save percentage, yeah?
um that would be in the lowest of in the lowest of numbers."
Yeah.
But one
Yeah.
interesting fact, I was reading, I don't know how much of this is true or not, but he's conceded 8% of Chelsea goals.
Yeah, I also saw that, but it was in the Twitter. It was in the Twitter. It was in a tweet, so I didn't really
Yeah,
take it
I
seriously.
did.
But
I
but I
didn't
saw that.
know the source of that stat, so I just didn't really believe that. But yeah, for me,
But it's not too hard to believe because he has really
yeah,
has
I
really
mean,
let in a
this
lot of
season
goals.
I think we've conceded more goals than any of the top 10 teams. So
Yeah, yeah. I
it
read
doesn't.
I read a stat. I read a stat somewhere that said that um Lampard goals conceded at Derby County is the same as the goal conceded at Chelsea for Premier League. And I was like,
That
hey,
would
I
that would
was like,
that's a very interesting fact. It's clubs in two different leagues, and
yeah,
totally different, style of play and everything, and still we've conceded the same amount of goals as Derby County, which is like, the thing is, I would say Frank Lampard is he's in a way a bit of an inexperienced manager. He's only had a few seasons of
yes,
experience,
yes, that's
and
true.
it's his first season in the Premier League, so it's it's for sure that he's going to learn a lot this season, and of course, hopefully, fingers crossed, we sign a few defenders who can actually defend, and next season this doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, pretty much.
I,
Yeah.
I okay, sorry.
No, that
I
was all.
yeah. I don't
You,
want to backtrack too much, but like I just I just don't want to rile anybody up. But the 2012 um, Champions League final is also up there for me. It is, but the difference between the two is that the 2012 one was just like a mixed sort of emotion. Like Muller scored, and then Drogba equalized, and then Drogba gave a penalty away, and then Czech saved. So it was like a mixed emotion for me. I enjoyed the final outcome, but the match itself I really didn't
I
enjoy
think
so much.
I
yeah.
think as they said during the match, it's written in the stars for Chelsea. I think it
It
was
is.
just
It was. It
it, it,
was.
it was
It
a
was.
statement that summarized the whole season, the whole
It was.
2012 season for us.
Yeah. I remember I lost my voice for like 2 days. I celebrated so much. I couldn't
I've
talk
had
for
a,
2 days.
I've had a few Chelsea moments where I've had to go to school, or I've had to meet up with friends, and they would ask me why your voice is gone. I would just say nothing, just a sore throat. You know, you can't
Okay.
explain the passion that you've got for a club. Not
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
understands
Yes.
that.
Yesterday I was chatting with a friend and and he told me, and he's an Arsenal friend. We're talking about the Arsenal game, and he told me that I'm too passionate about Chelsea. And I said, nah, I'm not too passionate about Chelsea. I'm very much passionate about Chelsea. I love Chelsea. So when
I
I'm
think
talking
I
about Chelsea,
I think if you're passionate about a club, that's when you really know you're supporting the club. There's a lot of
yeah,
fans out there who would just support the club for a win and would just not
yeah,
even
that's
consider
true.
it. You know,
There's no
so
such thing too much.
yeah,
There's,
there's never too much in football.
no.
Yeah, true. But you
That
see,
leaves.
like in
Sorry,
Ghana here, in Ghana here, like football isn't really like the priority of people unless maybe there's a game going on. But me, I live, breathe Chelsea, so
I
some people don't understand it sometimes.
I think that mini debate that we had the other day on Twitter really explained that, Amart.
Okay.
Moving on to the next segment, we've also got another host, Dominic Lygdopoulos, at the moment, who was not able to come into the recording, but hopefully we can have him for the next episode. And that's when we can introduce him as well. So we'll talk to him in the next episode. But going away from introducing CFC Talk and everything, we're going to now move over to the actual podcast, and this is something that's going to be just a free for all for everyone. It's everyone can just speak out their opinions, and we've got a few topics lined up. Firstly, let me start with Kai Havertz. What is your opinion? What is your opinion on it, guys?
Amart, do you want to go?
Yeah. I will. Kai. I don't know. For some time now, the news about Kai Havertz has become a little bit quiet, has died down a bit. I don't know whether negotiations are going on. That's why we haven't heard anything yet. But he'll be a great addition to the squad. I'm not going to lie about that. He's going to be a great addition to the squad. I've talked to some people and they are like, "Oh, why are we buying so many attackers? We need attackers. We need the goals. We'll also buy defenders. I'm very sure we will, but we really need the goals. This season, our main problem has come from the defense as well, but a lack of goals is also an issue. It's really an issue. And Kai is very, very versatile. He can play as a winger. He can play as a midfielder. He can play as a striker sometimes also. So that versatility is very much needed in the squad. So Kai coming to Chelsea, if we do get him, I'll be excited. I'll be very much excited. He's a
I've
great
got
addition to the squad.
my opinion on Havertz is totally opposite. I would say we saved that 90 million for some other defender or some other player at the back line.
Yeah, for his price tag, I understand. For his price tag, if we can get somebody else that is cheaper and like you're saying, for like a defender instead of him, that's cool. But his price tag too is very, very high. I totally forgot about that.
Alex,
I mean, for me, I mean, you can understand why fans from the exterior and some Chelsea fans say that he's not necessarily the most necessary signing. But I think you still have that. I reckon, say we buy some defenders now. In a season, 2 seasons down the line, you're gonna. I mean, Barkley will be gone. Loftus-Cheek, we don't know if he's gonna live up to everything we want him to be. You'd probably there's the chances are we'd probably be in the market for a player like that anyway. So yes, his price tag. It was, I think it's rumored, around 800 million or including the bonuses. It's a lot, and it could be used. It could be better used, but considering, I think it's the thing that makes it special is the circumstances, the fact that no one can really buy him except for us, unless Real Madrid come in and but apparently they're supposed to be saving money this year, so yeah, basically we're the
I think they're also saving money. But going back to the point that Amart made about us not being able to score enough goals, I've just had a look at the amount of goals we've scored this season, just in the Premier League as its own. A total of 69 goals, which is third in the whole league, which is, I would say, it's suffice at the moment.
Yeah, it's sufficient. I agree with that, but when you add in Ziyech and Werner into this thing, yeah, I'd imagine we're gonna be up there with City in terms of goals scored. But I think one thing with Havertz as well is he enables us to get rid of more of this kind of these substandard players that we have around right now. For example, Ross Barkley. I've probably said it on Chelsea Discord millions of times now already, but Ross Barkley started in the Didn't he start against Bayern? I think.
Yeah, he did.
I think he did.
And that just
I remember talking to you about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I understand with the injuries, but the idea is even with injuries, we can still field out a great team that can score ridiculous numbers of goals. So, and also, yes, the money could be used better on the defense because that's statistically where we're much weaker on. if there was some 90 million defender who was 23 years old who was on Havertz's level, I reckon we'd probably be going for him. But there isn't.
But there is, yeah, it's true.
There isn't.
There isn't.
So yeah, it's not the idea. It's not an ideal situation to be in. You really want to spend all your money on what the clear weakness is, considering we've strengthened an attack. But
sorry, go on.
no, I don't have much more. Wait, go on.
I was gonna say we talk about Kai Havertz as a great addition to the team, and we talk about I think 900 was it 900 million you mentioned over
90.
the span of 90 million 90 sorry
million. Yeah.
yeah
Or
90 million signing, and
uh,
then on top of that another bonus of I think it's probably going to be another 10 million or something over the years.
yeah.
Yeah, as add-on.
Yeah.
Why don't we consider keeping Willian for another 3 years? It's something that he wants. We know he has performed really well, and I think me and Amart had this conversation on Twitter as well. And you know, Willian isn't asking that much, and we've already got the likes of Pulisic, we've already got Werner coming in, we've got Ziyech coming in, who are suffice enough, and then we've got Mount, who is also a attacking player. So why are we investing in someone like Kai Havertz for 90 million then?
I view him as a kind of hybrid between a Barkley and Willian replacement. He kind of kills the two birds with one stone. He can play in Barkley's position, he can play in Willian's. Also, on the Willian point, I think it's also about setting a precedent with some of the contracts we've been handing out, like Callum Hudson-Odoi's. We've kind of set or at least we've set the precedent for the young players of if you play well enough, or if you have that much potential, you're going to get this big contract. And I think if you give Willian this 3-year deal, I mean, we didn't give Didier Drogba a 3-year deal. We didn't even give him a 2-year deal. We didn't give Frank Lampard a 2-year deal. We didn't give John Terry a 2-year deal. We didn't give Petr Cech a 2-year deal.
But yeah, we talk about those players, and I think I think that's the point that you were going to make as well.
Yeah.
Because
I,
yeah, so the thing that I would say is, at that time, yes, I wouldn't have given those guys a contract because of the fact that the average age of the team was a lot higher back then than what it is right now. If you look at the average age, I think it comes to about 20 to 23 years old, because of the fact that we've got so many youngsters that have come in the past year since the transfer ban, the likes of Mason Mount and everyone, who've just lowered down the age. So we might need the experience of someone like Willian, who's been in semi-finals, who's played finals, who's lost finals and won as well. So maybe we're giving up that experience for Kai Havertz and 90 million.
Yeah, it's a good point as well. I mean, Willian has. I mean, I'm not his biggest fan, but I won't deny that in the Champions League and post restart, and in the Champions League before restart, he's been integral. I think he's been a really fantastic player, and I'm not Willian's hugest fan. I really don't like some of his bad qualities, but in the Champions League, he's come in clutch. And yes, you could say that if we want to have a deep run in the Champions League, he would be a pretty useful player to have. The problem is, I don't think he would accept the reduced game time like he saw in Conte in the 17-18 season, and then he kind of threw up a sulk. He put some emojis over Conte's head when we won the FA Cup.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So
That was a bad move.
Be happy to give him a 3 years if his attitude, if he didn't have some. It's not an obvious attitude problem. It's just because he's never really, other than under Conte for 1 year, he's never really been hounded out or dropped or anything. But I think next year when you've got Ziyech coming in, he's gonna be all over that right wing spot, and Pulisic is probably going to be all over the left wing spot. So
and then as a backup, we've got Mason Mount as well. So
I don't think with Lampard as the manager, Mason Mount would be a backup. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure Lampard will find a way. I'm not saying he favors him, but it looks like without Mason Mount Mount in our team, if it like let me put it this way, if Mount is playing well, the team plays well.
exactly.
It's like
Yeah,
it's like Lampard has kind of like build the team. It looks like Lampard is building the team around Pulisic or around Giroud or somebody like that, but he's actually
That
building the
that's
team around Mount.
that's something that I also feel is happening. You know, he's got these 3 or 4 players in the team, which he's
Yeah,
really putting his trust into, and then he's just building a team around them, like a bit
yep,
of a
around them.
bubble
Yes.
around them, just to protect them and just get them to do the work, which
Mm.
maybe he's
could be hard.
building like he had.
It's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was it. Sorry, I was just saying he's maybe perhaps Lampard's trying to build the spine of young players, just like
Yeah,
he had in 2000, basically from 2003 onwards, that won Chelsea trophies left, right, and centre for the best part of a
yeah.
decade. I reckon Lampard's trying to make that basically have that happen again.
But
I don't think it's a bad thing to actually build your team around them. I think every keeper that every manager does that. Sarri did that with Jorginho, and Lampard is doing that with Mount. But the
Yeah,
difference is that like Mount
uh,
actually there's no difference actually, but Mount actually is very hardworking. He does what he has to. He has some bad games, true, but he's done most of the work that he's supposed to do on the field. He's very hardworking. When he loses the ball, he tries to win it back. He defends very well. So I don't so building the team around Mount isn't a bad thing for me. I actually like him. I like him a lot. I watched him a lot when he was at Derby County, and
I think
it's not really bad.
the point that all 3 of us made was the fact that the managers at Chelsea have been creating a bit of a bubble around their main player. We
Yeah,
saw
main
that
play. Yeah,
again. Yeah, Mason
yeah,
Mount and Lampard, and then we saw Jorginho and Maurizio Sarri, and then if I remember correctly, it was N'Golo Conte with Conte.
yes, yes. That's
Yeah,
true.
so
That's
there's
true.
always been that one special player, and then if I can include Hazard as well into that during both the
Yeah,
Conte and Sarri era, um, it's always been like that. So, but as a Chelsea fan, moving on to Willian, going back to
William.
Willian actually, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of rumor about him going to Arsenal, and let's say we do sign Kai Havertz for 90 million, but if Willian's contract is expiring, he's going to go on a free transfer, so we don't get anything for Willian except the
anything.
fact that his wages, what we pay, are just going to be paid to Havertz. But maybe get Willian to sign a 3-year deal, maybe see if he reduces game time season by season, and then maybe sell him to another club, gain that money back.
it's not a bad
Yeah,
suggestion, but I do
yeah.
think yeah, Amart's gone.
Okay, like I was saying that yeah, that's a good thing. It's a good suggestion, like you said. But the thing is, if the teams don't get him now, I don't think they're going to try and pay something for him. They're going to try as much as possible to get him now. So if let's say like the rumors about him going to Barcelona or the rumors about him going to Arsenal, if that doesn't happen, and we sign a deal with we sign a 2-year or a 3-year contract with him, you're sticking with him for the long haul. I don't think anything will come in for him, to be honest. And I'm not bashing William. I love William. I'm one of his biggest fans as well. But I'm just saying that when if he signs with us, if teams can't get him on a free now, I don't think they would pay money to get him like 2 years later or a year later.
That's a good point, to be honest. Alex, you were saying something.
Yeah, I mean, Willian's at the age where, and considering he's wanting a 3-year deal, he just wants one last big contract. I think, especially with his
Yeah,
restaurant. He's got project. He's got young kids. He's got his restaurant with David Luiz.
yeah,
Yeah, I think he wants that one last payout, that big contract, and so I don't see him wanting really to be moved. I mean, the problem is we're tied with him. If we want to get rid of him because it's just because Lampard really likes him and he's just going to play him more than he deserves. There's nothing to stop. We can't do anything. We can't get rid of him, And I can't imagine. I mean, when he gets to, whilst he is an extremely fit individual, and he's probably one of the most durable players I've ever seen in a game. Yeah, once he gets to 33, 34, he's going to lose that pace, and yeah, I just don't see him being much of use in the last year.
So we would all say that Willian has to leave this summer, or else it's going to be.
No,
Plus,
not necessarily leave. I will be happy if he stays as well. I'll be happy if he stays. Like you said, he provides the necessary experience that we need, because if you look at the team now, we don't really have that much experienced players. The players we are buying in are relatively new players. They are young, so we need that Willian experience. But the thing is, if he would understand that next season he's not going to feature regularly, then there's no problem. Like Alex said, he has the tendency of like acting out when he's not playing, and yeah, he's not participating in games. But if he's going to accept that he's going to be a rotational player, if he's going to accept that Kai Havertz is coming in to take his place, and then he will be there for cup games or Champions League matches, or like just rotational gameplay, then I don't mind William staying. But if he wants to be a regular starter, then I don't think he is the best. It would be best for him to be around.
I think I would agree with Amart on
Yeah.
that point, and I think everyone would agree with him as well.
So
but-
one more thing on that would be
Yeah.
just looking at when Willian has signed previously his contract extensions, and he so after the 15-16 season that everyone praises him for, he earned a new contract, and then he went back to kind of scoring a couple of league goals. Well, to be fair, 16-17 he did score quite a few league goals, I think, and then after 16-17 he did. So basically, after he signed his contract, he didn't get back to his performance levels of before signing the contract, and now it's coming up to his end of contract, and he's playing well again. So I don't think he's directly playing well to get a new contract, but I do think that does influence his.
I think I would agree on that one as well. I think a lot of the players, when they know their contract is ending, and if they've got, I think if they've not got a very good future ahead. All respects to Willian, though he's been a great servant of Chelsea. He wherever he goes, he'll be a great player. But players do tend to try and perform better when they know they're out of contract or there's clubs scouting them out, and that usually results to them being picked up by the team again. So I think Willian's just doing what I think every other player would do, and I think it's just natural instinct.
Also, with Willian going, it kind of puts a bit of limelight on Callum Hudson-Odoi to really step up, I think, and become the kind of young world class, basically our Sancho kind of player.
Yeah. I think Frank Lampard has really shown a lot of trust in the academy, and he you might say he had to do that because he didn't have a lot of signs that he could make, but he's really brought these youngsters up from the academy and really getting top four. And I know, as much as it would have been a great sight to see him hold up an FA Cup as a manager, and say in my first season with 5 or 6 youngsters, I think, who played regularly, I've just won the FA Cup, I've got Champions League spot, and I'm still in the Champions League,
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's
that's a good point.
Yeah. So moving on to the next area of what are our predictions for the Premier League, or Chelsea in general, for next season? I think what are we expecting from Chelsea?
Amart, do you want to go?
You're throwing the difficult questions my way. I'll answer them. No worry.
Just say I'll go first. Yeah, it's completely. I don't mind.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. I don't know. Next season, I don't know. It's weird to say, but I'm very optimistic about next season. I'm not going to beat about the bush. I'm very optimistic. I think that the kind of players we brought in, they are very exciting. Yeah, They are good players. I feel like we'll finish higher than we did this season. We might end up third or second. That's my prediction. I don't want to be pick one, but we might end up third or second. I really do think we might. I feel like
And
City is also going to strengthen their squad. Sorry, you wanted to say something?
no, I was just going to ask you, and what do you think about the domestic cups as well as the Champions League maybe next season?
Champions League. Yeah, we can like we can challenge every trophy. I don't want like the thing is I don't want to say we are going to win this or win that, but because we are still this season is a transitional season, right? We for every Chelsea fan has agreed that this season is the transitional season. So next season is kind of like Lampard's like first proper season with Chelsea because this season he had problems, he had hindrances that didn't let him perform at the level that probably he wanted to perform. So next season will be his proper season.
Especially after the signings that he's already made, form of
Yes,
Werner
yes,
and Ziyech.
exactly. So next season he might not have that many excuses. And I like that command in the Discord when they put excuses and it just counts up transitional season.
Yeah.
The it's just funny. And yeah, so like I said, so in the Premier League we might finish we can't finish third or second. I don't think we'll go below that.
That's a very interesting prediction. I've got a prediction of my own, but first, Alex, your predictions for next season.
The way I look at next season, I kind of see us as I predict it's going to be really similar to the 2013-14 season. Jose Mourinho called us a little horse, and I do think that we are for next season a little horse. We're not the favourites to win anything. In
Yeah,
2013-14, we had our issue was scoring goals. We didn't. I mean, we had a pretty solid defense, but then we didn't have Diego Costa or Cesc Fabregas.
yeah,
Nowadays, now we have the attack, but we don't have the defense. So I see us going far in the Champions League. I don't see us winning it or even getting to the final or maybe even the semis, but I expect us to be in the quarters and if we're lucky in the semi-final. And then in the league, I expect us to finish at least third.
That
Yeah, third at least.
that's also a very similar prediction to Amart.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But
yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
I want to say one thing about the Champions League. You see, the thing about the Champions League is that we've never been favorites to win that thing. We've never been favorites to reach semi-finals. We've never been favorites to reach even quarterfinals.
That,
We always start the season as underdogs in a way in Champions League.
yeah. I mean,
I'm pretty sure it will continue next season, like you're saying.
we got extremely lucky in the 13-14 season to be in the
Yeah,
semi-final. I think it was a Demba Ba
yes.
very last minute. I think against PSG managed to get us
Against
in.
PSG. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a very
extremely
good
lucky.
game.
So
yeah,
I expect. I mean, with the attack that we have, I expect us to. I mean, also it depends on how bad our group is. I'm not aware of what pot we are in for the Champions League, but if we completely destroy the group somehow, then I expect us to at least get. I expect us to be in the quarters. I think, but you never know. We might have a group of death again, depending on what pot we're in, and then we might draw Bayern Munich or something again. Because we have to remember that. I mean, I think pretty much every team once you get past the group stages is a fantastic team.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's hard enough. I
yeah,
think it's hard enough to get out of the group uh,
Yeah.
on its own. So you can't take any team lightly.
No.
yeah, that's
But
true.
yeah, going to my predictions. Actually, I've got very different predictions from you guys at the moment.
Wait.
Because I'm predicting Chelsea to maybe challenge the Premier League next season.
Yeah, it's if we can get some. It really depends on if the goalkeeper, the centre back, and the left back. It depends on who we get.
Because
Yeah, that's true.
I'm looking ahead a month from now, and I would say I can probably see a new signing in a goalpost.
Yeah.
In the form of maybe Dean Henderson, Onana, and
Yeah,
if we do get a good goalkeeper, and then maybe get a really commanding centre back it would just give us the I think we would have one of the best defense in the league. Hopefully, fingers crossed, 1 or 2 defenders if we can sign them.
Yeah. One, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like Lewis. There's a couple of names at centre back that I mean, I completely forgot about Lewis Dunk, but I know he's like he plays for Brighton. People will think, he plays for Brighton and they're not great defensively. Why should we be looking at Lewis Dunk? But he just kind of fits the way that I think Lampard would want to play, and he's very commanding. He's been captain of Brighton for years on years, and I think we need to be signing more players like who are captains and vice captains of other clubs. We used to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very good move.
We
Well,
used to
but
do it.
sorry.
Sorry, we used to do it back in like in our previous year where we bought captains like Balak. I can't remember who. There must have been some.
We always signed commanding players in each positions, and that's really what changed the way we played. As much as Diego Costa would have been I would kind of call him an arrogant person, but he did the job for us.
Really.
When we talk about players like for like Diego Costa, players he wasn't captain, but he was still a leader in the attack.
Yeah, and that leader has that extra influence, like Bruno Fernandes. I can't remember if Bruno Fernandes captained Sporting Lisbon. I can't remember if he did, but it's been widely reported that he has this ridiculous winning mentality. He can't stand losing, and that's kind of how, as well as him being a fantastic midfielder, he's kind of changed, I think, the atmosphere inside that United team.
So like I was saying that we used to have a lot of leaders in the squad. We used to have Drogba, we used to have Lampard, we used to have ACN. Even Mikel at times was a really good leader. So like yeah, he was a Nigerian captain as well. So yeah, so like you guys were saying, we do need those people back in the dressing room. We need people like them back in the dressing room. I don't think we have enough leaders on the pitch at times.
That's a very good point that you've made, and I think all three of us agree with this as well, because we've got a very young squad who needs a few leaders who can just lead them out. As much as we say Frank Lampard's a Chelsea legend, people respect him. There's also a factor of now he's a manager, and maybe as a player you have a different impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also you can't. At the end of the day, you like telling the players what to do. You still need someone on the pitch to kind of get everyone to switch on, and yeah, it takes more than just a leader off the pitch to do that. So yeah, and to be fair, it doesn't have to be leadership. It's just commanding, just someone who's leadership that isn't necessarily the same as commanding. Commanding
So
is yeah.
I think what you're trying to say is someone who's vocal and get his.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just before we end the podcast, I think it's fair to say we should just make 3 predictions of our transfers that will be happening this summer for each of us. So starting with Alex, I think.
Wait, 3 transfers each or just 1 each?
I think 3 transfers each that we think should be made by Chelsea, or 3 transfers that we're looking forward to.
Right. So, I'm gonna say Regulon. I've completely messed up his name, but the Regulon, the left back from La Liga, him.
Yeah.
Who else? Kai Havertz, and this is tough. This is really tough. The third one, because I'm gonna either go. It depends who's sold, but okay, let's not. I'm gonna go and Declan Rice. Yeah, so Havertz, Rice, and Regulon. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. So you've got everyone. You've got players from I think different positions as well. So a midfielder, a defender, and then a attacking.
Yeah.
Leaving the goalkeeper suggestions to you guys.
I don't think it would be a hard decision to make after seeing Kepa's performance this season.
Yeah.
Not at all. Yeah.
Anyone would do it in goal.
Yeah. It's just sad.
Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful, but it's just I think it's the confidence is too far gone now. He's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, like you're saying, it's very, very sad. It's very sad because I really thought last season he was good. He was really good. He wasn't the best, but last season he showed promise. He gave Chelsea fans hope that like we've got a Couture replacement. But this season it's just been a total collapse. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, it could be a confidence problem. It could be the defenders in front of him. I don't know. I don't know about Kepa.
Yeah, that's very true. So Amart, your 3 players.
My 3, I don't know. I really want Kepa to stay. I just have this feeling in me that he will come good with good defenders in front of him. He will come good. I really want him to stay, but then I'll go for a defender. Koulibaly. If we could get Koulibaly, I'll be very, very happy. Kai Havertz, obviously, and then probably Benarama. I really like Benarama. I don't know. There are 2 attackers, but Benarama looks very promising. Plus, we can get him on a very cheap price. Especially, I don't know how the Brentford match ended. I think they lost.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they lost 2-0. So we could get Benrahma. Is it Benarama or Benrama?
I think
I
I
think
think it's Ben.
I think we've all butchered names in this podcast. So
The names. We're very sorry. I mean, on the slim chance that maybe one of the players might listen to this, we are very, very sorry to all of you.
I love you, William. Don't worry.
Benrahma, Kai Havertz, and then Koulibaly if we can. But I
that's
also like Declan. I also like Rice. Rice, like I don't know. I watch his interviews and he loves Chelsea. I don't know. Just for that part, I can give him an honorable mention. But like I said, Koulibaly, Havertz, and then Benrahma.
Yeah. Going to my predictions. I'll go with one of Alex's I think predictions. I'll go with Declan Rice as well. He's a young prospect that we can use in the defensive midfield area, even at centre back. Maybe try him out there for a few matches and just see how he performs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very commanding. I think he
Yeah.
I don't think he's the kind of guy who settles for second best or anything. He strikes me as a real fighter. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will
Yeah,
give
that's
Kante a run for his money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah. Going to the goalkeeping position, I think, as much as we've paid 71 million for Kepa, I would not like to see him go. I would still want him at the club, but maybe Willie Caballero's a bit old, so we need a bit of a replacement as well, second choice goalkeeper, in the form of maybe Dean Henderson. Even though it would be wrong to say he's a second choice goalkeeper, but maybe just as the first season, play him in the cups, champ, give him the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup to play in, and then maybe just bring him into the first team.
That would be tricky. Yeah, the problem with Dean Henderson already is basically the second choice at Man United, but he's just away from Man United.
Yeah. So
yeah.
If we
so probably if he leaves, he's leaving to a team where he will be number 1.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So could we see Dean Henderson become number 1, Kepa become number 2 for next season?
Possibly, but I'll ask you this question. Would you have sold Reece James to Manchester United last season when the situation is a similar situation to Dean Henderson's this season, where he's had successful loans, but he's got an experienced player for them to hear, for us as Plaqueta? It's I can't fathom them trying to selling this guy off to us.
Maybe give Man United a few £1 million with Willian in
Yeah,
favour.
of course. of course. Why not?
They've always targeted Willian.
Yeah. I would love. I mean, yeah, if they can somehow turn Dean Henderson's head, I don't know how, but yeah, that would be
Yeah.
insane.
I don't know.
Just a
Like
bit.
Willian can go to any team he wants, just not Spurs. He shouldn't. He shouldn't even step near Spurs. He just shouldn't. Like his name, his legendary status, whatever it is that he's trying to build at Chelsea, will just end just like that. It will. Just end. He shouldn't step in Spurs.
The
I think
meme if he goes to Spurs.
there's no debate on that one.
Nah, none at all.
Yeah.
I remember when the rumors were going around the on Twitter. I was like, nah. I was just praying. I was on my knees. I was like, William, don't go to Spurs. Don't do this mistake. Because he might. Because at that time it made sense because Mourinho was there. He could go and join Mourinho there, but still, just leave Spurs out of your your plans.
Yeah. So for my third prediction, I'm going to go with one from Amart's prediction as well. Koulibaly. He's someone who I've really liked as a player, and someone who I can think of a player who would be commanding and really would just put the guys in their place in the right mindset.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Dealing with the Napoli director De Laurentiis is just very difficult. But
Yeah, to get him.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
that,
for sure.
that's the beauty of football. You never know what's going to happen.
Nah.
I'm sorry. I'm just on of the view that if we should get or we are going in for a centre back, I think we should go in for somebody who is experienced.
For sure.
Or what
Yeah.
do you think?
Probably the best
Because
experience.
as much as I like as much as I like Declan Rice, I don't think he'll be the most ideal centre back for
No.
us to go and get. Yeah, he can play as a DM, which will be very, very good for us. But as a centre back, I don't think it will work that much. I feel like we need an experienced centre back.
Yeah, Koulibaly probably fits that the most in terms of experience. It's just the affordability that's the issue. Plus
Hopefully we
Yeah.
can maybe not sign Havertz and just put the 90 million to him. As much as all Chelsea fans would hate me for saying that.
yeah, I think
You've repeated that. You repeated that twice already. This is the second time.
Just making sure Chelsea hear me out.
you never know. Havertz isn't confirmed, so it could still drop. It could still not happen, and you've seen how fast things can change with Timo Werner. How it seemed
Yeah.
like he was going to Liverpool, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Fabrizio Romano, everyone is saying, "Oh yeah, Werner to Chelsea, it's done," all in the space of a day, pretty much. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. But if that Kai Havertz deal doesn't happen, I don't know. A lot of Chelsea fans will be very, very, very disappointed because all I see from Chelsea fans is Kai Havertz this, Kai Havertz that, and
100%.
I'm also excited myself. But I don't think I'll be really bothered if we don't get him.
Yeah,
I don't
whenever
think
I
I will.
open my Instagram feed, it's just all about Havertz. Just everyone's just talking
Yeah.
about Havertz and how he's broken so many records, or he's going to be such a good player at Chelsea, and whatever. It's all rumors at the stage.
I just
Yeah,
wanted to be
yeah.
confirmed so badly. That's why I'm hoping. I can't remember who they're playing in the Europa League, but I hope they get knocked out immediately.
That would really
Yeah,
make him consider his decisions quickly.
Well, yeah, it would speed up Leverkusen's decision. I think his decision is pretty much
Yeah.
reported that he wants to come, but it's the money and the
yeah.
So just hoping
Yeah.
Leverkusen do just absolutely tank in the Europa League. Sorry, as in just do really awfully and lose immediately to. But I think they have I think they're playing a Scottish team. I think it's Celtic.
Is it Celtic? Yeah, Celtic.
Yeah. It's true. I think they are.
It's Rangers. They're playing Rangers, and they're
Let me.
yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think
Okay,
that
it's rather Rangers, right?
they're playing Rangers, and they're 3-1.
Okay.
So yeah, probably not very likely that they lose that.
you never know. Hopefully,
I mean, the game.
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully the
I
games
think
are condensed, so
I think by the time we release this podcast, the games would be done. I would ask you for your predictions for the Bayern game, but this podcast was recorded before that. But I think when it's going out, it'll be the Bayern, but it'll be right before the Bayern game. So, just your predictions for the Bayern game, Alex, Amart.
Um, that game, I don't know. If we had a full squad, we had Kante, we had Aspi, we had Pulisic around, probably I'll go for a win. But with such a weak, kind of like very thin squad, and we can add players too. We've already submitted the number of players that we are, the list of players we are playing with. So I think I'll go for a draw. I don't know. I'm being very generous. I don't want to predict a loss for Chelsea. I never do that. I don't want to predict any loss for Chelsea, even if it stares at in our face that we are going to lose this game. I'll give Chelsea a draw, a 1-1 draw.
So you're predicting Bayern to go through?
Yeah. I'm predicting Bayern to go through, but we'll get a draw.
All right, Alex.
Well, thank you, Amart, for giving me some time to think. I think it's how can I?
You're welcome.
After you've said that, how can I predict a loss? I can't do that. So I think it's gonna be. I think we're gonna go down fighting. I think we're gonna just go for it, but at the same time, I do not think we're gonna be defensively solid. I don't see us clean sheet against them. So I'm gonna go with a. Before you said you can't predict a draw, so you can't predict a Chelsea loss. I would have predicted 3-2, a 3-2 loss. But now I'm going to go with a 3-3 draw. I think we're going to go for it. We're going to score some goals. And I'm going to say 3-3 draw.
I'll spew up an argument here, and sorry, Amart.
Yeah. Like I'm just saying that we got schooled. We got schooled at Stamford Bridge. That player Alphonso Davies is just something else. Like that pace that he has on him. He's a cheat. He is. He's a cheat code. It's just it's as simple as that. Because he's so fast. I think he broke the record for fastest player in the Bundesliga this season, and that is just crazy.
You saw when Mount was pretty much through on goal in the first leg, and he's about 10 yards behind, and Davies is about 10 yards behind him, and he catches up.
He caught up to
Yeah, the catch up was.
He is
can't do anything at all.
He is the road runner, just like they say, just like the Bayern players say. He's just ridiculously quick, and
I don't know. I feel like without him in the squad, I would have given Chelsea a little bit of a chance, but that guy, like he orchestrated most of their goals. I think all three of their goals. He orchestrated all three of their goals.
It was down the left-hand side, pretty much all of it. So, or on our right-hand side. So
yeah.
But still, I don't think it's 100% impossible that we don't do it. I mean, that we don't somehow win 3-0 or 4-1.
I think I'll be the. I think you both were optimistic with the way you said you were going to give Chelsea a draw. But I'll go one bit higher than you saying Chelsea will go. I think we've got a chance.
I mean, there is a chance.
We definitely have done more things than that in the past. We can do that, but it's your prediction.
If we score an early goal, I'm predicting Chelsea to win 4-1 and going through on away goals.
Yeah, I think so. And also, you never know with referees. This, like, I mean, in Ajax, we had a penalty and 2 sending offs for the other team in the space of 60 seconds. So you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. That game we're 4-1 down, right? We're 4-1 down, and we came up to win to draw 4-4. We could have won that game 5-4 if it wasn't for the VAR offside.
Yeah, that's something that we will have a whole season the whole of next season to discuss about. But I think in the next episode, if you guys can hear our voices, I think you'll know that Chelsea lost. But if you can't, then hopefully we'll have a good fight against Bayern and we go through, but it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Amart and Alex, for being on the podcast, and it was great having you as well. Looking forward to having you and having discussions with you guys throughout the season, and hopefully it's on the cards that Chelsea win. But you know, you can never say anything about football.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to be on. Thank you very much.
No, it's
Yeah,
it's a pleasure to
same.
have you all have you on the podcast. Hopefully next episode we can get Dominic on as well. Just a
Yeah.
few. He was a bit busy tonight, but we had to get this episode out. But it is what it is. Life comes in between sometimes. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And if you are listening on Anchor, our podcast is also available on YouTube as well as Spotify and Music Apple Podcasts. I think is it called Apple Podcast? It's all over the place. Follow us on all Instagrams. We'll link all of the hosts as well as the main CFC Talk one as well. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.